presents the Naveed Mahbub Show. Once you're here, I've seen you appear on TV. You're very social. You're also very much out there. You're outspoken. You're very candid when you speak. So I'm sure you've gotten somewhat tired of being bombarded with the same topics, having to talk about the same things. So I'm not going to get into anything serious things or anything. But you want to play a game of allegory?
A game of?
We'll do a little bit of a role play. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
Okay. So let's say, you're a good-looking man. Not as good-looking as I am. I'm just kidding. But we're both good-looking men, okay? So now we are university students. We're roommates. And we live, we're both studs. We are both good basketball players. We come home from practice. We're all sweaty, but we have a bit of an issue. That we've got a great landlord, by the way, and sometimes we don't have water in the bathrooms. We can't take the shower, and one issue is that the landlord's daughter, she controls the pump, and I think we like her, she likes us, but maybe she wants to see us sweaty and everything, so she controls the pump of the water. So how do you think you and I can handle this situation? Because I know that the landlord himself doesn't have full control on his daughter who's controlling the pump. How do you think we could handle that? You and I both can handle this situation.
I'd say a good solution would be what we could call a negotiated settlement, in which we both make parallel offers to the controller of the pump to buy her dinner if she organizes water for both of us. If water supplies are adequate only for the one of us, then whichever one gets there first and offers to buy 2 dinners is the guy who should get the water.
So wait a second. So as roommates, we're going to be competitors right now.
The idea would therefore be to try and say, you make sure that there's enough for at least a very South Asian style bath, which is at least a bath out of a bucket. So a couple of buckets of water.
Okay, so good. All right, so now we've both graduated. We're both doing very well. We've got good jobs and everything. I'm doing very well. You're doing a little better than I am. And then turns out we're both neighbors right now. I've got a nice house. You've got a nicer house. It's a little bigger. And then we've got this other neighbor, and it's a big family over there, okay? And uncle and auntie have a lot of kids. This other neighbor, okay? And they're somewhat have some issues with some of their kids. And some of those kids show up in my house, okay? And I say, look, I can't turn them away, so I've got these kids. And then I'm saying, you know what? Yeah, it's I'm hospitable. I don't want these kids to be on the street, so come on over. But now I'm asking you, Vikram, hey, dude, we've got all these kids walking around. Can you give them some space? And can both of us go and talk to uncle and auntie? Said, guys, they're your kids, okay? Why are you sending your kids to me? Now, auntie's in a bit of a trouble right now, so maybe the problem is a lot less now. We just have to deal with uncle right now. How do you think we could, both of us, convince uncle and auntie to take the kids back?
Fundamentally, the important point is to give them a sense that we understand that they have challenges at home, that maybe there may not be enough food for all the kids at the same time, that all the kids may not have all the room space that they want, but it is their responsibility to take care of these kids, and that as their 2 neighbors, we're willing to help. I'm happy if my house is a bit bigger, I could offer to, and my pocket is a bit bigger, I could offer to help paint up the rooms for them, add in a few tables and chairs so that the kids can have their own individual spaces to study. We could create an environment for these for uncle in particular to want to have his kids come back. But figuring out that there is already a competitive element where he looks at both our houses and says both of these guys have more space than they need, they've got big gardens, and they could easily accommodate these kids for a bit. Rather than that, try and tell them that, look, it's much better if we help you get your house in order and your own kids can come back to you.
Exactly, and even the fact that you've got a big house, I've got a big house, but also I've got a lot of kids, you've got a lot of kids too, right? Because we're very active, and
we're kind of full up. Yep.
And plus, you're this, right? You're this. So, so do you think right now? I mean, it's an absolutely great a perspective that the best ways to to be able to convince in a convincing in a good way that what is the right thing to do. And would you think that right now, right now it's just uncle over there, so the job might be a little easier for both of us, rather than before it was uncle and auntie, who are both of them are very overpowering right now. Do you think the job could be a little easier right now?
Could be. I mean, look, it's early days yet. We all need to know how uncle and auntie have managed their relationship in its new context. But if uncle is all powerful, then uncle can help us address this problem, because he also needs to make some of his problems go away. And the only way of making problems go away is to start trying to address them. So given that there are so many problems on his table, I'm sure he'd also want to make things a little better. From what I've seen from some of the smoke signals he's putting out, uncle's keen on improving his relationship, at least with his immediate Asian neighbors, Bangladesh, India, and also on the Southeast Asian side. So this is one of the bits that will help him improve the situation.
Great, great. And I hear through the grapevine that you've got a very powerful uncle also. Do you think that uncle might be able to, right now it's just uncle and uncle, makes things a little, it's like a, man to man. So do you think, the uncle that you have, he could have try and influence this uncle that, hey, this is the right thing to do?
Well, hopefully. Let's see if that kind of works. This is something we've been working on for some time, so hopefully a conversation between uncles who have the capacity to get decisions taken would help.
Great, great. So I think
it's got to help, because honestly, this is not a problem that can be left to fester forever.
Excellent. I'm glad we were roommates. I think we've both done very well. Don't you think so? We're thinking very clearly and very rationally on this aspect, aren't we?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Roommates are done.